Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Deborah. Today I thought that I would do some more work on my binchies that I've been doing. So this is the cover that I'm covering with little photos and other bits. And today is really about showing you from the beginning how to make these, not the photos, obviously, you just need to cut your photos down. But I wanted to spend a little bit more time on making the actual, what I'm calling binchies. Now, my first thing is gather all your little bits. So I've got some little bits here, and then I've got this pot of things which I hope to have little things in it, like there's a Scrabble letter. I've actually got some more Scrabble letters somewhere, and then I've got these really old, oh there's some flags, punny farthing. I've got these really old cabochons that I made and I covered. I put the thing in and covered them, but I thought maybe I could use a couple of them on there as well. This is kind of like my little container of little bits and pieces that, as I found little things, I just tossed in here. I've got a little crazy face thing there. It doesn't matter that they've got a hook on the end or a little ring on the end, I don't think. So I'll be having a look through that. But first of all, let's just go to the pieces of chipboard I found. So some of the chipboard I bought, and I bought it in black. So it's actually great because it's already done. And then there are others like these ones here. Now they are quite big. They're a little chipboard bird cage with the bird, but they're quite large. So I just wanted to check if that's going to be too big. I could probably put that across two, and that would look good if it was across two of them. So I will be using that one. And I also have my little squares here, so that the others are not. They're just in the plain chipboard colour. There's another black one. I knew I had another black one. So my suggestion would be is that you grab out all your little bits, especially if you're like me and you've got this rather old chipboard that is just, you know, it's actually a wood product. I think these are Casa craft and they're a wood product. I'm just trying to get that loose. There you go. Get a couple of those out. And then I've got a paper towel because I'm going to make a mess. I've also got a wet wipe I've pulled out already. And I've got some brown paint. So this is just a basic paint, student paint, which is in burnt umber, which is a really nice brown. And I thought I could do it in black, but I couldn't find the black. I don't think I've actually got a black paint. So I thought instead I would do it in the brown, in the burnt umber, which is nice and really dark, so it'll match in anyway. And now I'm just going to use my finger to colour this. Really, that's all I'm going to do. And I've got the frame as well, so just pop some paint around the frame. And I'm sure when they dry, they'll look a lot better than they do at the moment. Now, I don't think that I'll need two coats on them, but I can always do two coats if I want to. So there is the little key lock. Now if you've got something like that which is already the right size, it's 1.5 by 3, then I can also use that. It's pretty good on thickness too, so I will be using that as a base as well. And then with the frames, I'll just do all of them actually. And because I'm using this acrylic paint, it may need a second coat. I could have used a gesso, but I do have a black gesso, but it's a pretty large jar. And every time I open it, I get it everywhere. So it's probably best that I'm a bit more careful with this, because I do have other product out on the table and I don't want to ruin it. These little, oh, that's the wrong size. The wrong side, sorry. These little window frames I think will look quite cute. So I had quite a few of them done last time, and they were ones that I completed when I did my class, or actually had bought stuff from Jane Treganza. And I did hear from somebody who lives down there who said that she doesn't have the shop anymore, but she believes that she still teaches. So if you get the chance to have a class with her, I would highly recommend it. She's great. I learnt a lot when I did these, and I still remember it. It's so long ago. I've got a little key, maybe I'll do that. And these are pretty easy, like in terms of paint. I could use a brush, yes, for those that are thinking, why isn't she using a brush? Very, very possible I could use a brush, but chose to use my finger instead. This is a tree, would you believe? A little tree. And I've also got a sewing machine, not for my sister. That would be for me, since I'm the only one in the family who sews. Mum sewed, but my sisters don't sew. My niece sews. Actually, both nieces can sew, I think. 2 of the nieces. Anyway, so just put some paint on your stuff. And we have just gone into, or we're about to go in at 5 o'clock today. So when you're seeing this, tomorrow we will be in our snap 3-day lockdown here in Brisbane. Got a bird, I might do the bird too. Because we have more cases of COVID that have been found in the community. There was a man who's been wandering all around Brisbane and didn't obviously realise he was sick, and he was, and now one of his friends has got it as well. So we've gone into a snap 3-day lockdown, which is basically Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then of course Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday is Easter. So everything's shut probably until next week. Not the grocery shops, they'll be open, but everything I think will shut down now until Tuesday, which is fine. More time to craft, I think. That's what I'm thinking. And also you can get any metal bits that you've got. So that's obviously a penny farthing. That's in the metal. And I've got plenty of metal bits that I might get out too. So I will find those words. You need a focal point for each of the little things. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. So for example, I've got a bird there, and I've got the word there. I've got the word love here. I've got the little milk cap. So you need, that's how I'm getting started. You need a focal point and say, okay, well, this is where I'm going to start. This will be, you know, the last thing I put on will be this, whatever you're making. And then you can build up from the base. I need to let those dry now. Okay, I found some words. This is what I was looking for before, these chipboard words, because I wanted to paint them up. So these are just little words, and I purpose bought these so many years ago. It's just embarrassing, really. From a craft show I got them. I was at a craft show, and actually might have been the one where I learnt to do, you know, to make that sort of thing from Jane Treganza. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I bought them and I've never used them. So now I'm just going to colour them. I'm just colouring them across all of the chipboard itself. I'm not worrying about whether or not the board on the back gets dirty. Now here's one. See, I haven't even opened it. Let's see. Try and open it now with my sticky fingers from the paint, but that's okay. So this is just here. It says remember, forgive, forever and together. I'll just put some paint over the top of those, and hopefully they'll come out and they'll be lovely and brown for me. Now I'm letting all of that dry, so that's going to be my last layer. Now I have to look at the bottom layer. So I've got some ones that have got 4 single ones. I can make into doubles, whatever. And that I'm doing with paper. So I've cut another piece of paper. But I don't think you want to have the same paper all the time. This is Pretty Dot one. I've also got florals on the other side. And I think what I need to do is just chop this down, because my cutter won't take this size. It's too big. So I'll chop that bit off. Got my mini cutter here. And now I'll be able to chop them into the right width. So we'll start with the 1.5, which will be here. And then I'll determine where I want to put them. So I've got 1.5. I think I'll get a couple out of this one. Okay. Probably not the most efficient way to cut your paper. You should, you know, probably use it in your big cutter, but it doesn't matter. So now I've got 2 different types. I've got this one here, and then I've got the black one. So I can stick these on as the bases. So I think I said to you last time, I like to do things in a production line. So get, you know, all of whatever done first, and then, you know, do the next bit and the next bit. Otherwise it becomes a bit tedious unless you're creating completely from scratch, just you know, 1 or 2 items. I think it's much better to create in a production line, which is how I quilt, because that way you then feel like you're achieving something. When you get to the end, it comes together super quick because you've done all that. Now I'm going to put this on here and then cut it down afterwards. And then I'll put these on now. So I'll just stick a few of these things on, because I've got quite a few that I need to make in terms of that number of little squares, given that I've got a whole heap for both sisters that need to be made, and plus my own as well. Now it doesn't matter if it goes on the black or the white, or if you've just got plain chipboard pieces. This is what I could get. I remember at the time they had them in black and white. I'm not sure what they're really meant to be used for, and I just chose to get them a mixed pack because I didn't really care, and it's what she had at the time was really what I was going for. And I do have some other things as well. For example, I've got these butterflies, so I'll just chop some of this down. Don't know what's on the back. Oh yeah, that's all right, that's nice on the back too. I shouldn't put those there though, because I need the cutter. So I think that if you've got nothing to do over the Easter break, then this would be a good thing. Now I kind of wanted to get the 1.5 in with this one, to put that in the middle. So I'm going to cut that there and then cut it in here. It's a bit fiddly, but I want the butterfly, and then cut it again with the 1.5. So the butterfly will be pretty much in the center, and then cut back this way with the 1.5 again. And I've kind of got that butterfly where I want it now. So I think that maybe you should cut all your papers at the one time as well. That's probably step 2. So step 1 would be prepping whatever your final thing will be on top of your square. Step 2 will be cutting all your papers. And then step 3 will be sticking all your papers onto their little squares. This one, I'm going to use the other side because that's quite nice too. Now I can cut this down afterwards once I've got that in place. I'm not going to bother to cut that now and measure that, just cut it down afterward. And I'll do a couple more because I really have got so much to do. I had thought about getting rid of all this actually. That was my thought a couple of weeks ago, is that I'll just ditch this and get rid of them. And then I thought, well, I've spent this time collecting stuff, I've spent money doing it, so why am I now going to just ditch it all and get rid of it? Now I'm going to take that, because I think that if I do this to a 1.5 and then turn it round, that's pretty good. Now also remembering that I have 3 of these to make, and so this won't all go on the one thing. I will be making 3 of the same thing, and therefore I need to have a lot. So it doesn't matter if I do the same idea over and over again, because there'll be a tolerance for how many I can put on the one product picture. And remember that with mine I'm doing both the inside and the outside, and once it's all mixed in with the pictures, they're not really going to pick up that you've got a repetitive, you know, thing, like you might put 3 of these in the one set. As long as you don't stick them together, the person who gets this isn't going to be saying, oh look at that, she put 3 of the same picture on mine. Trust me, they won't. They'll just be going, that looks amazing. That's pretty much what they'll be saying, I would think. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Now I do need to get another piece. I might put a piece of this on actually. I could have cut it down, but I can just let that dry, I think, and cut that down afterwards. If I try and cut it now, the square will slip around and I won't be able to do it. Yep. So, hello to my fellow Brisbaneites who are now in lockdown for 3 days. I hope you're all doing well in lockdown. and that it's not hurting you too much. I'm sure that we will get through all this because we have no choice really. We have to. We've just got to soldier on until such time as they can get this virus under control, and they're trying very hard with all of their vaccines and things, aren't they? So it's just a matter of making sure we can get through it. I'm sure as they're trying so hard that we're going to be able to do that. Now, I'm going to cut these at 1.5, so let me just trim these up. But then I wanted to do some that are 1.5 by 3 and also 3 by 3, because they will be the ones that will be the bigger pieces. And in order to mix it up, now that's too small, so that's just going to go in the bin. In order to mix it up and make the piece look good, you will need different sized pieces. There's no point in having everything at the 1.5 inch or whatever, you know, inchy, twinchy or binchy, whatever size you've chosen to make yours. There's no point if they're all at the same size. It will look better if you mix it up. It will be more pleasing to the eye and you'll get a better look out of the whole thing. Okay, so I've got that on there, and I'll just pop this one on as well. So I'm using the back of the black piece. I just didn't realize that is actually a black square. It doesn't matter, honestly, it doesn't matter. You just need to put them on. I'm also not worrying about the butterflies being perfectly centered because I'll stick something over the top of all these. That one hasn't stuck, I don't know why. It might be because I've got the AC going. Yeah, they've come up a little bit. Just give them a shove down again. Make sure they stick. I don't know whether it's the AC interfering or what. So if you want to do 2, 1, 2, then just take some double-sided tape, if I can find it. Stick them together. I'll put them both on the white though. Leave it stuck until such time as you want to put it down. Will that fit on there? It should. And then stick whatever you're using onto the piece. I am keeping my theme consistent by using my same graphic 45 papers. So, but you could mix up your papers as well. I mean, I make scrappy quilts with my leftovers and they look great, so I don't know why you couldn't do that here. No reason at all. Now this one I'm going to do a 4-piece. So I've got that piece that's already 3 by 3, which I used before, but I want to use do another one that is that big as well. Now just let me get, this tape is hard to get off, so I have to cut it rather than tear it. Just make sure if you are using 4 squares like I am, that you're lining those squares up. Now here's an interesting question I've got for you all. If I could speak, I'm blaming the lockdown. We're not even in lockdown yet, but I'm still blaming it. What do you call people who come from your area? For example, I said it before, we call people who come from Brisbane, we call them Brisbaneites. And if you live in Melbourne, you'd be called a Melburnian. And then Sydney are called Sydneysiders. And people who live in Canberra are called Canberrans. So everyone is called something different depending on where they come from. I was doing a 4, wasn't I? I'm going to do that whole 3, 3, 3, here, 3. That might look good if I do 3. So where do you come from and what are you called? What's your, you know, general name for your people who come from your area? I'm just interested because I like, you know, I like words and names and things like that. And I was trying to think, obviously people who come from Australia are called Australians. Canadian would be Canadians, Canada would be Canadians. But like if you come from, say, Texas, what are you called? Are you called a Texan? Maybe it's a Texan. I know that other people, you know, people who come from some cities and areas and things are called different things. Like for example, if you come from Glasgow, which is of course in Scotland, then you're called a Glaswegian. You're not called a Glasgowian or anything like that. So there you go. Just a random question that I've got for you today, people. If you come from a certain place, what are you called? I quite like this. I'll put this on here. Yes. What's your collective names? Yes. I think that's the question for today. If you want a question, that's my question for today. So I can't use that, that's too small. Got this one, I might do some more with this one as well. Especially these dots, I really like the dark with the dots. Let me try and work out how to cut this. Let me cut this at the 2 inches because it's might be difficult otherwise. 1.5, there you go. So let me know, leave me a comment. What are you called? I think some places would be quite easy, and then others you know, maybe you don't have a sort of collective name for people from certain cities because it might be too hard to do. Maybe they're just called, you know, people from, I don't know. I don't know. I think like if you come from, let's say, Missouri, would you be called a Missourian? Don't know. You come from, say, Boise, I like that name, Boise, which of course is the capital of Idaho. Would you be a Boisean? No, that sounds weird. You can't. Let's go through all the capitals of America now. I'll think about what they might be called. If you come from Olympia, which is the capital of Washington State, are you called an Olympian? That would be very cool if you are. Is anybody out there from Olympia? Tell me, I need to know, are you called Olympians? Because that, I think if you are, then you win. You have the coolest name of anybody. Maybe you're not called that though. Maybe they said, no, we can't call you Olympians, but that would be hilarious. I need to know, I need to know. I'm going to do a long one with this. I'm going to do a 3x1. Yes, so I need to know, people. Tell me where you're from. Like if you come from Sacramento, which is capital of California, would you be called a Sacramentan? Don't know. I'm just trying to think what the capitals would be. I don't know about people from Perth. What are people from Perth called? They're not called Perth. Maybe they're called Persians. No, they wouldn't be called that. Perth. I don't know what people are from Perth are called. That's terrible. I think people from Adelaide are called Adelaideans. Maybe, I don't know. Is that right, Janet? Nat, tell me. What are people from Adelaide called? Adelaideans or, I don't know. Anyway. All right, so let's move on. And I'll think about some other names for people from certain places and what you may be called. So then you need to cut them down. And then of course you need to decide what it is that you're putting on them. I need a bit more glue on that for some reason. Okay. So once they get cut down, and of course it's only the ones that you stuck things on that you need to go through and chop them down like this. All those are done. They're done, done. I think that's all done really. Okay, So I've got quite a few just by chopping and talking and getting those on. It's a good thing to do if you're sitting around watching telly, just to stick things on, or if you're just sitting around chatting with people. Maybe you will be when you're in lockdown, just chit-chatting with people. And then the next thing would be is to work out what's going to go on each one. So I'm not talking about the photos. You'll need to make similar things with the photos. I can't remember the ratio, but I don't know if it's written down somewhere on some of the instructions, but I would think that you need to have maybe like 2/3 of these and then 1/3 photos. Let me just grab the book again that I started and see. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 photos on there, and I've got a fair bit of other stuff, 7 photos. So just play it by ear, and we'll put some more of these on here. I think I told you last time, I'm not worrying before I'm waiting until the end to start sticking these on. I've already stuck them on because I want to get it done. You just need to stick them on, and when you put them all together, they'll look really good. We'll get another section of this done today, and you'll see what I mean, because I'm using similar theme papers and I'm sticking with the dark sort of black and white theme for all of these sorts of things. Oh, one more to cut, forgot about this one. So that's why I'm thinking that it will look fantastic anyway. And trust me, everybody will be amazed at how clever you are. That's my usual response I get from people when I make them things. They're all like, oh, you're so clever. Not really, but you know, they don't have to know that, do they? We'll just keep that our little secret. Shh, don't tell anybody, it's a secret. Yes, now, I like this little camera. I think this little film thing's really cute. And I need some words as well. So I've got these, which is some more of these words, and I'm just going to cut and pop them on. The other thing I got out was my Tim Holtz ones. I'll just put this on here. So then let's get some glue and stick this on. So you just need to work out what it is that you want to end up with. Is that going to be enough for you? Maybe you're a minimalist and you don't want as much on there. Maybe you're not. Maybe you are a maximist. I don't know how to say that. Minimalist and a maximum whatever. Anyway, maybe you're one of them and you want heaps of stuff on there. Now, remembering that that glue will dry clear. So I'm going to put that to one side. And maybe you just, you know, want things the way you want them. I've got this bird, but I don't want to hide the eggs, and besides I think this has to go this way, so I might have to make another one for the bird. Maybe I can put, that's a bit dark, see how that's blending in, too dark, can't have that. Let's put some other things on here. Maybe actually what I'll do is I can put the bird cage on here, that will stand out. Yep, that's what I'm going to do, pop that on there. So whatever sort of crafter you are, it doesn't matter, this will work for you. And if you're like me and you've got heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps of old photos, or not even, you know, they don't have to be old as in from the 40s and 50s. A lot of mine are from the, you know, the 70s, 80s, 90s, even the recent photos, I'll be using those. So I'm going to pop that on there, but I think I need something else. I've got the bird. I probably want sort of a saying across here. So I'm going to go to my Tim Holtz Small Talk stickers. I'm going to keep in the black section. I'm not going to go with the white. I think I did use one of the whites, but I think that I'm going to use this one. And I'm going to go with a long sticker that can go across the bottom here. This one here. Live, create, tell the story. Let's pop that across. Oh, there. Just need to put that sideways. And then I really need something up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut one of these butterflies out. I'm just choosing which one to cut. Maybe this reddish brown one here. Let me just cut this out. I could also get a piece of another chipboard thing or one of the chipboard things from some of the Stamperia sets that I've bought lately. They would look quite good in here too. Just cut around the little feelers. I don't worry about keeping them on when I'm fussy cutting butterflies. They're just too fiddly and it's too hard to actually stick them down. And then I'm going to go to this. Oh, not that. Hang on. This. Actually threw this in the bin by accident yesterday. I was cleaning up and I heard something kind of go plop into the bin and I didn't worry about it, and then I went and emptied the bin, the bag, so I pulled the bag out and put it into the bin outside, and then I realised I went looking for this and it wasn't there, and luckily it wasn't bin day, because then I ran out to the bin and opened up the bag and there it was, right on top, so that was lucky. So just pop the butterfly down. That looks cute, doesn't it? Got a little butterfly on there now. Set that aside to dry. And all of those need to sit over there and dry. I didn't do my clock, but I'm thinking I can do the raw clock on here. Let's see, 10, 11, that's 12 there. Because that's black and white, it's going to look fine. Oh, it's actually black and brown actually. The dots are a brown. So if I put the clock on top of here, I'm going to get the 6, 7, 8, 9, oh, hang on, just find that 12 again, 3, 1, there's the 12 there. And that by itself makes a really good one. So they don't have to be super fancy, they just have to be something that you can, you know, then use in your thing. Now this one here, I'm thinking that I can take one of these words, just see if they're dry, that's not too bad, and push this out. And see if I can get this out. You've got to be careful if you do find some of these little words, because they are so thin that they will break. So I just have to carefully tease that out of there like this. And don't want to break my C. Okay. Then I have to get the rest of it out. CH, this has got a little bit in it. Let's get my pokey tool here. Let's see if I can get that out. Ah, C-H-E-R. It's really, really hard. Just tease it. Be patient, she says, but you know, I'm the most impatient person in the world, so probably not up to me to tell you to be patient. Yeah, I've managed to tear it apart. I knew I would. As long as the letters are intact, I can stick it back together. C-H-E-R-I-S-H. Just that S needs to come away now. Okay, there you go. And now I will put glue on it. And let's get it on there. I want to put it down here so that it sits under the eggs. There you go, cherish. Now again, it's fairly plain, but I'll leave it like that because I can add to it. And I'll just see how it goes once we put it onto the actual book piece. And I've got some more bits out. So these are watch parts. That one's fairly flat. I need to have them so they're flat, otherwise they're not going to sit on them properly. Okay, I've got that one too. That's fairly flat. They're so tiny, some of these. Okay, now my hands are a bit wrecked today. The day before, I've been helping my daughter get her house ready, or her unit ready to rent. And so on Saturday, I spent 2 hours scrubbing at the sink. And let me tell you, my hands on Saturday night just all peeled. Yesterday I got up and went, oh great, now my hands are peeling. And all the skin just peeled off them from standing at a sink scrubbing for 2 hours. And that is just a bit of old watch part, but it's a really interesting piece. Got a little teeny tiny cog on it. I don't know if you can see that. Let me get it up to camera for you. See, it's just adorable. And then this one here is the same. They work really well on a dark background. So if I put that there, and it's flat on the back. I wouldn't put it that way, it's probably not going to stick, unfortunately, but if I put it down like that, bit of glue and it's going to be lovely. Put it down this bottom part here because I might add something else onto it. And then I've got this one, which is a little tiny frame. So I'm going to put the butterfly in that frame. Again, metal works really good with this. It'll just, because it's not too thick metal, but because this isn't that sort of really protruding up a lot, it'll look really cute. Pop that down on there. And you can see there I've got the little butterfly up now. Where's that wet wipe? Just straighten that up a little bit. And then I'll put a little saying up the top there. Let's see, try and find something, create, okay. This is just a little word, little chipboard word. I said last time if you want different things, you can always print your own little quotes and things out and use them. You don't have to use pre-made items. It'll work well with whatever you've got. Pop this down on top here. There you go. That looks really cute too. Okay. See what else we've got to put on, shall we? So the book has these on it. And I just thought maybe if there was a photo turn on top of one of these pictures or something, it might look okay. So I'll chop this one out because maybe this is a goer. I think I'm going to have to finish up now and come back and do some more of this in the next video because I do want to show you how progress is going. I'll just do a little word along the bottom here. It says artist. And I think that I'll leave it there today. I want to let this dry. I want to pull apart my chipboard pieces and pull a few more of these together, and then I will come back tomorrow and show you how things are progressing and put some of the book, the thing I'm doing, the piece that I'm making, together. So I'll just go through also my stash of supplies and see what else I can find for the little pieces. I think I mentioned, for example, this, and that would just go down right on top of one of those like that. And that will look fine, even with the little dangle on it. I think it looks fine. These don't have I put that dangle on there when I was playing with the jewellery making that I did for a little while. But you know, I wasn't really any good at it. Just making little odd bits and pieces like this. It's too fiddly and too, you know, you have to be too neat when you're doing things like that. And you know, as you know, neat is not my middle name. It's messy and disruptive. So I'll put that on while I'm waiting. So there you go. I'll be back tomorrow and show you some more of my binchies that I'm making, and I hope that you're crafting along with me. And if you're not doing it today, then get your supplies out and you can do some of it tomorrow with me. For now, this is Deborah. Thanks for watching. Cheers.